It's episode 138 of Gracefully and Frankly. And frankly, I am graceful but grateful to be back here with you again this week, Lisa.
You're in air conditioning and with actual hard walls and a roof?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and happy dogs and a husband who decided to grow a beard while I was gone. And yeah,
cool.
Everything's changed.
He looks good in a beard. Okay, so you were glamping, but not really. It was still pretty rustic, right?
Yes, it was. And we're going to talk about that. And guess what? I get to be the twit this week.
Oh, I can't wait to find out why you're the twit. Okay, excellent.
All right. I mean, as it's happening, I'm telling the people around me, well, this will be good for the podcast. Wait, you have a podcast? Yes, I do. And here's where to find it. No, I never do that. I just say yes, and I move on because, like, who doesn't have a podcast these days, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. I know I already said that, and I'm sipping one of Rob's coffees now, but I'll tell you, coffee camping was our job one, and I nailed it. So where do we begin?
All right. I guess we begin with you were going with your sister, Leslie, and instead of camping in a tent, which I do not recommend anyway, you got a yurt.
Yes. Now, Leslie has a tent, and she's been doing this for the first time this summer with her husband and grandson. And we were going to do that, but we couldn't find a nice tent spot anywhere. So I found this place in a town called Sicamous, Sicamous, and it was called Hangin' Loose in Sicamous. This was the name of the site. And really, it was just kind of a farmer's field with some orchards around, but it backed onto a really active river. And by the river, there were more trees, and that's where the yurts were. Now, do we explain what a yurt is, or did we do that last week?
I don't think we did, but we have friends who have yurts for rent on their blueberry farm. And, you know, yurts have become a real neat thing for people who don't want to be in tents. So they've got more structure and they don't move, right? They're wherever they're set, they're set.
That's true. And in this case, and I will post pictures at our Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page, so be sure and go there. But it was quite lovely. There was a king's down king mattress, 4 pillows, a chaise that opened up that you could store stuff in, another ottoman that had all the dishes in it and stuff. And there were little fairy lights on all of the sheer drapery inside. So the woman who was running it was really doing a good effort of making it kind of romantic and sweet. And outside there was a barbecue, and there was also a cook stove, which I never could get running, but that's okay. And then a table and 2 chairs, no fire pit. Somebody had a fire, but we weren't going to go anywhere near burning anything in British Columbia right now.
No.
So that's the setting. And it was, after the first night when it rained, Lisa, it smelled like the inside of a cedar sauna. It was so aromatic and beautiful.
Did it make a sound like when it was hitting the top? Did it sound really neat or not so much?
Yes. I was hearing tapping and I thought, well, what is that noise? What's going on? And okay, it's rain. And then there was a deluge on Saturday night. It just poured. I went out in the morning and everything outside was soaking wet. But on Monday night, we were in the midst of a rollicking thunderstorm and it was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So could you see lightning through the yurt?
Oh, heck yeah. There was one flash that was so bright, I reached over and grabbed Leslie's arm because I didn't want her to be surprised by the crack of thunder that was coming.
Wow.
And I don't know if me grabbing her scared her more, but it was so wonderful. And because there wasn't a lot of wind, we weren't afraid of trees coming down. You know, it's always the wind that scares you when you're out there in the elements, right?
Right. And when I think of this yurt, I think of Expo 67 and that big round thing. And that's sort of what it's like, right? It's like a circular...
Yeah. Or almost like a small circus tent. You know, the big top, only much smaller.
There you go.
This one was really roomy. And I would recommend a yurt. 9 ways to Sunday. I would do it again this weekend. I loved it so much.
Wow.
Now, you know me. I'm a creature of comfort. So let's go through some of the obstacles, shall we?
Did you have your Wi-Fi?
No Wi-Fi, but I had cell service, so I was able to hook up my computer and make sure everything was going well on Facebook, where I had scheduled some posts to go while I was away, and there were no trolls in there or guys with 2 first names who were trying to make new friends.
Right.
So that was all fine. Yeah.
Excellent. What about the bathroom situation?
We're going to get down and dirty right away. Okay, the bathroom situation, the one outhouse was a fair walk back to the parking lot, so back through the woods. So I knew in the morning when I got up to make coffee that things were going to be percolating in more ways than one, so I made the trip to the Biffy, and I just kind of closed my eyes, tried not to inhale, and just thought, this is my toilet at home, only instead of a heated seat, it's kind of damp. And it was, and everything was fine.
I have to tell you, when I tell people, they laugh at, they go, oh, you have a bidet, so fancy. And I go, yeah, but there's no heated seat. Just like, that exists? Nobody can believe it exists. Anyway, okay. And what about making coffee?
Making coffee. Well, fortunately, I got Rob to grind up our blend of beans to take with us, and we did it in one of those big Reese's potato salad containers back when we bought Reese's from Costco, but it's made in the U.S., so we don't buy it anymore. But the container was handy because once I dumped the coffee into a Ziploc, guess what the potato salad container became? The pea pail.
Oh, my goodness.
And I found out that at 62 years old, I can still squat with the best of them, sweetheart.
Listen, I did some gardening and found that out. I didn't have to pee in a plastic thing, but you do you, honey.
I did. Yep. It's just us, right? And I had brought my own toilet paper, my nice soft Costco Canadian toilet paper from home. So Leslie had laughed at me packing a roll of toilet paper, but no, it was smart.
Yeah.
Now to the coffee, which causes all that. We had our coffee blend. Leslie had brought a French press. Right? So
yep.
So we had this little contest that I don't think she knew was going on, but which is always fun because then you can win. But the first morning there, it is 11 o'clock. I have slept till 11 o'clock. So has she. I had a mask on. My earplugs fell out sometime during the night because there were trains going by. I thought people might be loud, but we slept till 11. And I looked over at her, and there's no sign of life. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to make the coffee. And I did. I figured out the barbecue, and there was a blue enamel pot in the barbecue, and they'd left us all kinds of potable water. So I boiled the water, and I made the coffee, and I put in our lactose-free cream, and I brought her coffee in bed.
Wow.
Yes.
That's so cool. I love it.
And the next day she was supposed to do it, but guess what? She waited till I did. And the morning after.
She's not a fool, your sister.
No.
So what'd you do for food?
Food we just picked up. We went grocery shopping on the way up, picked up a bunch of cheese, Laughing Cow, turkey pepperettes, a few other little snacks that are just mostly carb friendly. And we ate those. And one day after our paddleboarding, we went for an ice cream at a place called Dutchman's Dairy because I figured they've got to have black licorice ice cream. And they did.
Excellent. And was it good?
It was white with black licorice in it, so it wasn't the color I wanted, but it was still tasty. Thank you for asking.
So you went paddleboarding. How did you like it? I've only done it once, and it's harder than it looks.
It is, and you can picture yourself coming from a seated to kneeling to standing position on a yoga mat, right?
Yeah.
But then put that yoga mat on a balance board or something. That's the way you train to get on it. And I only tried about 3 times, but the lake was pretty active because of all the boat traffic. So, no, I got from crouching to about bent over at the waist, and then I thought, nope, I'm not going to be able to do this. And as it turns out, with recent cataract surgery, I'm not supposed to get my face wet anyway.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, so it was just as well.
Just as well.
Good.
And I have video, but it's just not entertaining. You know, I just wish it was. If it was a colossal flop, I totally would have posted it and put funny music to it. I don't know, Benny Hill. But no, I tried. And you know, Lisa, that was the only thing the whole weekend that scared me. And I realized later, have you ever been in a situation where you thought, I thought this was going to scare me, but I'm fine. And then there are other things you think you're going to be fine with, and you're literally shaking.
Absolutely. Yep.
In this case, I was shaking as we were inflating the paddle boards because I didn't know how to do it. I don't like not knowing how to do things. I'm that person who, if you don't get it right the first time, put it away and try something you're good at. And that's awful. You don't learn anything that way, right?
I'm not going to say it's awful. It's just the way it is. So yeah.
We would have stopped the podcast at 2 episodes. But no, they persevered. And so, yeah, we got them put together, and Leslie knew her way around very well. And I didn't hurt Lefty, my left pec, on which I've had quite a bit of surgery, because we tethered our boards together, and I rode on the right, and she paddled on the left until we disconnected so I could try to stand up. But mostly it was just lying on the waves and enjoying the moment and hearing people having summer fun.
It's such a different experience if there's boat traffic and they're causing some waves and stuff. That's not anywhere near as enjoyable. I understand.
No. But, I'd try it on a pond or something. Who knows? Or maybe I should just try it on dry land, except there's a fin on that thing and you don't want to break it. But just practice getting up and getting your sea legs.
You just said something, staying in your comfort zone, don't want to try something new or something. Yeah. But I am very proud of you for doing this, because this is really, compared to how life normally is, it's pretty rustic. There were some unknowns.
Yes.
And you went for it. It sounds like you had fun.
Oh, we so did. I didn't want to leave, Lisa. Leslie and I had such a good time. I had downloaded a few things to watch on the iPad until we ran out of juice. That was really the biggest challenge, was trying to charge devices. And I had a car charger. I'd brought it from home with a plug-in and stuff, but we just couldn't get enough juice to keep going on things.
Yeah, our ancestors had the same trouble.
You know?
It's the exact same thing.
Right.
So.
I was going to go out and run the windmill or something, but it just didn't work. So that was our biggest challenge, and it was totally a human-made thing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Lisa, what should have scared me as I'm going off to sleep the first night, I'm thinking of people I know in my life who will be on the second floor of a house and insist on locking the walkout or locking the windows or making sure that no one could get in from the roof or something because they always feel like there's danger. We're lying there in a tent, just Leslie and me, almost in the all together, but not quite because it was like 28 and really humid. And I'm lying there thinking, there's no locks, there's no keys, we have no alarms, we have no weapons. We have nothing, and I'm not worried about bears because, like I said last week, we're just beef jerky at this point. Turkey jerky is more like it. But it never crossed my mind that some of the dangerous people we watch on some of these miniseries and stuff might be out in the woods and ready to throttle someone, like Dexter is out there looking for someone. But why didn't I feel afraid? Why wasn't I feeling in danger? And how would you feel?
Oh, I think I'd feel the same way you did because you're on someone else's property. I just think so many other people have done this. Everything's been fine. It's part of a business, really. That's how my brain works, and I think there's nothing for me to worry about. And the other thing I know is that Dexter has a code.
Thank you.
So he's not coming after you unless you've done something bad. I mean, he's made a couple mistakes along the way, but he's usually pretty good.
I've done plenty bad, but I guess not bad enough. So I'm glad to hear that. Well, one thing I didn't bring that I should have was coffee mugs because we were drinking our coffee out of plastic cups. And my sister Leslie was giving me a hard time. Where are these Gracefully and Frankly mugs? Oops. I said, Lisa sent me flowers when Dad died. I should have asked her to send me a couple of coffee mugs.
Hey, that can be done, you know.
Oh, no. That's okay. Hey, envy pillow. I took my envy pillow, and I have a picture of me posing outside the tent with it. And I used it at Leslie's, and I used it in the tent. And they sent king-size sheets as a measure of condolence. Just so beautiful of them to do that. And I'm going to sleep in them tonight for the first time, so I can't wait.
Oh, that's wonderful. They're just the best, Kim and Kathy at Envy Pillow.
If you're shopping Canadian and you want to support Canadian, two women, their own startup, they do it all. And it's not just sheet sets. Of course, it's Envy pillows and pillowcases and masks. I got a mask story for you, too. But all of that, just go to their website and see what they've got. They're such good people, and they need support now, too.
nvpillow.com is the website, and your code GF will get you 10% off your purchase.
So the first night, I thought there's going to be noisy people around. Have you camped much? Because you and I have talked about, hey, wouldn't it be fun to have kind of a camper lifestyle or one of those great big bus things? But the fear is being around other people, right?
Derek and I fantasize about it all the time, just hitting the road, having a little studio on board. But I keep saying to him, where are we going to park? Where are we going to sleep? Who's going to be around? I don't want to be subject to somebody else's whims. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and when you've got people walking around with their speakers on, or you're at the beach and Bluetooth is playing someone else's music selections, people don't respect other people's wall of silence. But this was not the case here. The only thing going by were trains regularly, because apparently Leslie tells me all the campgrounds are near trains, which, okay, that makes sense.
I guess it does, doesn't it?
Didn't bother me. After the first night with my earplugs and my eye mask, I thought, no, I'm not going to. And just think I would have missed the rain that first night. So no mask, no earplugs. We still had to wake up to an alarm at 9:30. So it was just, so peaceful. So don't rule it out, Lisa. You just never know.
Oh, I would never rule out a yurt. A tent? Out. Out. But that's from my drinking days and having bad memories of tent experiences. So, yeah.
Now, while we're talking about this great country of ours, oh my goodness, all of the smoke and all of the air quality warnings. You guys were making the news earlier this week for the worst air in the country. And
one of the worst in the world.
Yes. Well, what was your long weekend? It was Calypso, which stands for what in Port Stanley?
Come and live in Port Stanley, Ontario. That's why it's spelled the way it is, without a Y.
Right.
We had friends over. My brother was over, and I could really tell that the air was rough. I could really feel it in my throat and my lungs. You could see it. I mean, it was hazy. It should have been brilliant sunshine, but it wasn't. But you know me, I'm not a brilliant sunshine person, so I was okay with that.
Right.
But there was no humidity, so it was divine. It was just amazing and fantastic. I walked around and got outside more and did all of our walks, but it just was the first time I'd ever seen our air quality here described by Environment Canada as abysmal.
Oh.
So you know it's not good, yeah.
Wow. And it's abated since, or are you just kind of in a holding pattern?
It has slowly. At the beginning of the week, like Tuesday or so, it started to move out a little bit more, but it's still affecting. I mean, another woman I know in Ottawa had a pool party for her grandkids planned for the weekend, and she canceled. The air was so heavy and thick.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, one little guy who was out on the weekend in Ottawa, our grandson Colin, 10 years old, on Saturday named most valuable player of his baseball team in the tournament. And on Sunday, they won the whole thing. They got in a wild card spot to the final, and they won.
He looked so amazing holding his trophy and so happy and excited. What a great little player.
Oh, my gosh. And he pitches and he catches and he hits and he fields. And he looks so much like Lauren. I don't see this in pictures, but Rob said, oh, yeah, when I saw him holding the trophy, all I could see was Lauren.
I could, too.
Oh, you do, too? And she was a hell of a ball player, too.
Yep, I see Lauren in him, too, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The older he gets, the more I see Lauren in him.
And it's these moments as you age and as the child ages, and I knew that they would be coming, where you go, she should be seeing this.
Yep.
And, you know, Leslie says, oh, she sees it. Yeah, but I know. But, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's just not right. But he's incredible, and his family is so proud of him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's wonderful.
Oh, I got big dreams for this kid.
Blue Jays?
Oh, of course. Big Blue Jay dreams. But, yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. And his little sister's pretty amazing, too. So, oh, you know what we did? We treated them to a DQ trip after the tournament. Banana splits are on the bananas, we told them. Yeah, so we were there in spirit. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Nice. So you know how we've been told we need to take 10,000 steps a day? Apparently that's not true. It's lower, somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000, somewhere around there, or as I like to call it, 6,000 to 7,000. But a former colleague who now works in the healthcare industry said the reason they made it 10,000 is because nobody thought we would remember a number that wasn't big and impressive like that. But the studies showed more like 7,000 is what we need. So the truth is, if you're getting out there and walking at all, you're doing better than if you were sitting on your butt, right?
Yeah, and it's challenging in the weather that you've had. I mean, the humidity is just so draining, and you feel like a wet dishcloth when you get home, and then you add the air quality to that, and it's almost dangerous.
Yeah, it can be a little dangerous, but I have to tell you about my little victory. We have this hill in Port Stanley that I have talked about in my blog. It's called Schoolhouse Hill. It's very steep. It's quite long. And when we first moved here, I could barely get up the thing. I'd stop and, the complaining I would do. And it was terrible. And so we started taking a different route. So we go down that hill, but not up. The other day we came up and I walked up it with no problem. And it was so great to feel like I'd made progress. Slow progress. I'm certainly not an athlete by any means, but I was so happy.
Good.
So I'm thinking of adding a weighted vest.
What?
To my training. Yeah, because there have been a bunch of little studies and some experts who study menopause that say it can really help for some people. I'm not a doctor, but for some people who have back pain or for osteoporosis, for building up bone density, not a super heavy thing. We're not talking about 30 pounds or something, but it's a form of resistance training. So if you're moving your shoulders and arms anyway, you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck. Derek carries small weights when we walk. The same principle, though, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking of, now I don't know if that's going to be wise with my neck.
Oh.
You know, my neck being my weak spot, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I'm seeing them more and more, and not just in ads, but people showing up wearing them. I've seen people out walking with them on.
What if you just got like somebody's fishing tackle vest and put some weights in the pockets just to see if your neck can stand it, and if it's good, then go, okay, I'm going to buy one. Is there a way you can try it out?
There's some merit to that, except, I look dumb in those hats. But yeah, there's some merit to that. I should try that out, or carry a couple of 2-pound weights in my pocket or something. I don't know. Yeah, and that's what they say. Start slowly. We remind you we are not doctors and don't want anybody to get hurt, but apparently it can help with bone density, and that's a big issue with us at our age.
It absolutely is. And back to this study saying you only need 7,000 steps. 57 studies were examined, and even moderate amounts of walking were associated with lowering your risk of dementia and cardiovascular disease. And those who walked about 7,000 steps a day also had a 47% lower risk of death compared with those who walked 2,000 steps. Now, we're all going to die. I guess it's just a matter of time. But they say it's as important as taking your pills. So this ties in perfectly with the pills that you've taken to keep the pain down while you're walking too, Sierra Sil.
Oh, you bet. It's joint formula that takes away the pain in 14 days or less, or your money back.
Yep.
And it was way less than 14 days for me. The hip, the knees, it's all Canadian, developed in Canada, Canadian product, Canadian company. And we're so proud to be associated with them because they've helped so many people. And not just people, they also help dogs.
You can't get any better than that. They often have promotions on too. So go to sierrasil.com. Sierra, like the mountains, Sil, SIL.com. Use the code GF for 14% off.
Just maybe think of me once in a while. I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati.
I saw you posting about someone who passed and what influence she had on your life. In fact, the whole cast had on our lives.
Yeah. Lonnie Anderson.
Yeah.
She just a couple of days before her 80th birthday. And of course, from WKRP in Cincinnati, she was Jennifer, the smart one, who, even though she was only the receptionist, and I'm using air quotes, a bunch of them are still left. And I mean, Howard Hessman's gone and several others.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but all through my career in radio, I met people who were characters from WKRP.
Yep.
Frank Bonner as Herb Tarlick, the sales guy. How many salespeople did you meet that were like that? I mean, maybe they didn't wear white belts, but they were fast talking, get it done, and not all, but some.
Hey, big guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And Les Nessman, of course, and people who were so proprietary about their news.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Jan Smithers, the Bailey Quarters, who kept the station running,
But were very low-key and almost overlooked sometimes.
Yeah.
Venus Flytrap. I knew a Venus Flytrap in Toronto, my first stop in Toronto, who always had the ladies. And one night I walked in and he had candles and wine during his show, and a woman who I knew was not his wife.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my Venus Flytrap experience.
And this was not CHFI's famous Candlelight and Wine show either. He was doing it the home version.
It was not even at CHFI.
No.
Yep, he was doing his own thing somewhere else.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, WKRP. And I had a chance to shoot commercials with Richard
Right.
Sanders, Les Nessman, and Frank Bonner, of course, Herb Tarlick. Just both delightful men. And Mr. Carlson, too. I happened to walk through the bay one day, and he was there doing something for Maytag. So,
Oh, my goodness.
Eventually,
Yeah.
we met them all, except Gary Sandy, who was Andy Travis. He was a pain.
Yeah.
Because when he came into the station, he didn't want to talk about the show that made him famous.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Like the guy who played Potsy, Anson Williams, when he came into the mix, he wouldn't talk about Happy Days. It's like, okay, we know we were trying to distance yourself from it, but come on. You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that.
You know who embraces that perfectly? Henry Winkler.
Oh, isn't he the best?
Because he knows that's what gave him fame and why people love him. And, of course,
Exactly.
for many other things like Barry.
And while we're talking about celebrities, though,
Yes.
Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson dating. This has caught fire as just a delight for people. It's like Liam Neeson's been widowed for 16 years. You kind of want him to find love.
You do. I worry about him with Pamela, though, because if you saw her autobiography on Netflix, she's not really a steadying force. Maybe she just needs the right...
Rudder?
Yes, rudder, anchor, someone who really knows who he is and isn't going to be Mr. Pamela Anderson. We don't know.
Right, but having seen her in that movie that we went to, and I'm not going to be able to think of the name, where she was really good.
Yeah, she was an Old Vegas showgirl.
Right, that's it. I think it was called something like that. And
Old Vegas showgirl, that's what we're calling it, Lisa.
Okay. And then, she's got cookbooks out and she's gone the no makeup route. I don't know. I think she's trying to reinvent herself. I hope, because we know them so well, I hope so deeply that the kids work it out. No, I don't care. But it's just really sweet. I think it's really sweet.
It is. Well, I didn't know from leaving and going to the yurt to coming back whether they'd still be a thing or whether it was just publicity for Naked Gun, which I'm seeing is getting really good reviews for just being an all-out funny movie.
Yep. I don't know if it's worth a theater visit, but we'll see.
Well, definitely Spinal Tap. So excited about that for September.
Cannot wait.
Yep. I've already got a couple lined up to go see it with us in September, and it's most of the original cast from Spinal Tap.
Oh, and their hair looks hilarious. It should be
Doesn't
good.
it?
Well, on that note, and speaking of Spinal Tap, let's turn it up to 11 with Twits this week. This week in Totally Stupid.
It's time for...
Twits!
And guess what? I get to be the twit of the week.
Excellent. What did you do?
Well, we could make it a minor twittage and just say, leaving my favorite new reading glasses. I lost them once on the trip, and now I've lost them again. So that does not make the list, I don't think, Lisa. Would you agree? We have standards.
Oh, I would agree. That's just a regular everyday thing around here. Yeah.
So when you think of the things that I insist upon traveling with, think about them. There's my envy pillow.
Right. Weighted blanket.
That's it. Look at you. You got it in your second guess. Weighted blanket was perfect. I had it in my suitcase. It didn't make my suitcase go over. Got over there to Kelowna, took it camping. Perfect. Just wonderful. Leslie enjoyed it as well. And then I was packing the night before the trip home and, of course, slept with it. So the next morning at bleary 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm packing my suitcases. And I had an idea. I thought, well, why put it in my big suitcase and add to the weight there? Why not put it in my carry-on? There's a problem with a weighted blanket and carry-on, Lisa. They are not allowed.
What?
I lost my blankie at the airport.
Are you kidding?
Let me tune my guitar. I lost my blankie at the airport.
Did they confiscate it?
They confiscated it.
Are you kidding?
I kid you. I wouldn't kid about my blankie.
You're right.
Okay, here's the story. I get through, and they say, is this your bag? Yeah, it's my bag. It's nice, isn't it? No, and then she opens it up. What is this? Well, it's my weighted blanket. It has glass beads in it. Yes, I know. You cannot have more than 350 milliliters of glass beads on a plane. Hey, there's a good idea if you're going to be making bracelets on the way to Paris. I had gone online the night before, and the response from AI, which, kind of gathers up all the information, said some allow, some don't. So I'm thinking, well, I can understand if someone's going to have their weighted blanket and it pops a tear and there's glass beads all over the aircraft. That's just not safe. But with Pacific Coastal, the carry-on goes under the plane. You leave it at the steps before you board the plane. It goes under. So surely it'll be allowed. Don't call me Shirley. No. So they took it, and I said, well, what do I do? And she said, well, you could go check it in your bag. And I said, that's going to make my bag overweight. So what happened was I left it at the airport in hopes that my sister and or brother-in-law would make the long trip back from West Kelowna to the airport in Kelowna. It's a long way. And pick up the blanket. But if not, Rob's got a new idea for my birthday next month.
I guess so. Well, I'm very disappointed that you lost your blankie. I know how much you love it. Do you have a backup blankie?
Yes.
I knew it.
Okay. It's not as tragic as it sounds.
No.
But I had to do it for the drama. I mean, it's our extra blanket. And when my niece comes or when Leslie comes, they expect the weighted blanket.
Well, they'll have to bring their own and put it in their checked bag. That's all.
So, word to the wise.
Yeah.
If you're going to be traveling, don't put your weighted blanket in your carry-on.
Never knew. Well, your loss is everyone else's gain with that knowledge, Erin.
Okay, and I asked them, I said, could you please give it to a homeless shelter? Give it to someone, a charity for people with massive insecurities. Just find someone. And she said, no, we dispose of it. And I said, no, you can't. Oh, no. Send it to a farm for beloved blankies or something. And they were all laughing, but,
They dispose of it?
Of course. They have to dispose of everything, even that full bottle of tequila somebody might have or something.
What a waste.
I know. And really, would you want somebody else's weighted blanket?
Have you seen what they go for?
Yes. But anyway, as I said in the lineup at security, it'll be good for the podcast. And hopefully it was, because we all live and we all learn. And I'm just so grateful to you, Lisa, and for every single person who came along for the ride.
That's so great.
Yeah.
All right, Erin, we'll talk to you next week.
Yes, you will. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.
Bye.